You are listening to I Survived the Wild Outdoors podcast, where real outdoors men and women share their heroic tales of survival. I'm your host, Brad Mathewson, and this is their story. My guest today is Rohde from Utah. Dawn is an avid backcountry trail runner, triathlete, and marathoner. On the morning of July 4th, 2019, she went out for a planned jog in nearby Little Cottonwood Canyon. She started off on a trail she knew well, but found it crowded with other hikers and runners that Independence morning. Longing for a new canvas to take in, she spotted another runner turn onto a nearby Maybird Lake trail. Curiosity took hold, and she found herself following the man with a new destination in mind. Soon, he outpaced her, so she took to following his footprints in the snow, all the way up to Maybird Lake. When she lost his tracks, she realized she was lost. Can you tell us what happened that day, Dawn?
Got up early in the morning because these trails are quite populated and popular. So I headed out at 7:30 in the morning to this Maybird Lake. I had researched all about it and read all about it in this book that I had gone to the red pine, white pine in the snow and in the summertime, which is in those surrounding areas near Maybird Lake. You just cross the little bridge off the trail to go to Maybird Lake. And once I did that, I was totally lost because it was snow-packed, and I really didn't know where to go. And I actually tried to download the map on my phone, and that was really bad because it drained my battery quite fast. But I ended up following some tracks, like cross-country skier tracks up there. And I ended up running into this other guy that went to Maybird Lake, and he eventually took me to Maybird Lake because I followed him, and I was able to get to that trail and get to that lake. And when I got to the lake, I noticed there were bear tracks on moose tracks and deer tracks over there. That didn't scare me, the bear tracks, because they only come out at night. And I didn't know. Oh, shoot. There was something I should have said at the beginning, but you could probably edit that.
No, that's okay. You're doing just fine, Dawn. You can add it in now. You're doing just fine.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to say that, I talked to my husband that I was going to go to Maybird Lake and that morning, and that I would be back that afternoon because it's the 4th of July. And I basically went there because I had the day off of work, and I was able to go hiking there. I actually got to one part of the trail where there was a little waterfall down, and I ate that one granola bar that I brought with me. And I was talking to him, and he was trying to coax me out of not going up. And I basically was like, I really want to go because I read all about this trail. So I tried to, and so I just wanted to keep going. So when I eventually got to the lake, and then the guy said he was going to meet up with some friends at this one other lake, Red Pine Lake. And so I thought he was going to go up and over the ridge there. And I was about to follow him, but it looked like it was too steep and dangerous. So I'm like, I should just go back the way I came. So basically, when I was trying to go back the way I came, I ended up going in circles and getting lost. I wasn't able to download that map that I wanted to, and I was trying to follow cross-country skier tracks out of there, and I couldn't. All of a sudden, this thunderstorm came in, and it was really, really loud when you're 10,000 feet up. um, elevation. It's like 10,000 drums, and I was not scared at all. I was only scared of the lightning a little bit, and that was up to God if the lightning wanted to strike me or not. I don't know if I should have said that or not. Anyway.
Nope, that's okay.
Okay. And basically, I went underneath the pine tree for like a split, not even more than a minute, because I know that would be very dangerous to go underneath a tree when there's lightning. And it was hailing. I thought that, and I had seen the storm earlier that day, and I thought the storm was going to be moved away and wouldn't go towards the mountains, but unfortunately it did. And it did hit when I was still up there, and unfortunately. And I was trying to get off that mountain, and I was slipping and falling because there was snow. And I actually lost one of my water bottles. I had brought 2 little water bottles in my pack, and I lost one of the water bottles up the 10,000 feet. And then I had gone across some avalanche terrain where there's these big boulders and rocks that had fallen down from previous avalanches. And I knew I couldn't find my track on the way to get back, but I knew water was my lifeline. And so I went towards the river, because I knew where the river would lead. Eventually, it would lead me back to a trail that I'm familiar with called the Little Creek, Cottonwood Creek Trail. Locals call it the Temple Quarry Trail. Anyway, and I knew that I would be able to get somewhere and find somebody at that time. So I actually went this was spring runoff season. I should note this is spring runoff season where the rivers are really high and dangerous. But it was beautiful. I actually got to the waterfall part, start of the river making the waterfall part, where it was coming down. There was ice around it and snow around it, and the water was coming right underneath it. It was beautiful. I would have taken a picture, but my phone died because the battery life ran out of it when I was trying to download that map. Anyway, the cop tried to call me, actually, and my phone had 10% battery life. It wouldn't even allow me to answer the phone. Even if it was a solicitor, I would have answered it, but it wouldn't let me answer it because I had like 10% battery life left. Anyway, but I kept it on as long as I could for ping purposes. And my husband knew where I was going to because I had called him earlier. So he actually sent the search and rescue party up there, but to look for me over the ridge. But I followed the river. I couldn't follow the river down because it was too rocky with the avalanche terrain with all the rocks and stuff. So I went up and over, and I went through brush. So I did go off trail quite a bit, and then I actually knew there was a campground because I heard kids laughing near this campground, and so I walked towards this campground, and I actually slipped, and I was on a cliff, basically, and I did not move. It was getting dark. I did have a flashlight with me, and I tried to shine the flashlight, but it wasn't very bright, so I just said, I'll just stay here. And I did not move the whole night. And I was right next to this little tree the whole night. And I did see there were animals that came alive in the middle of the night. I saw red eyes staring down from me from on top of the cliff. And I swear there was something right behind me, too, because I heard some shuffling. But I had an alarm with me that I turned on in the middle of the night, and it scared the animals away, and that was pretty good. I tried to turn off my alarm, but I lost the key fob to turn it off, so I actually let my alarm go until the battery life ran out of it. But when I first got there, I tried to use the alarm to alert campers, but the alarm sounded like a loud chirping bird. And I was trying to even do a Morse code with the alarm to get some kind of feedback, but since it sounds like an animal, I don't think any of the campers recognized it. But I was up the whole night. I could not sleep the whole night. I had a space blanket with me that I used for comfort. It was more for comfort purposes than anything, and I was grateful since it was summertime that there were longer days and shorter nights. So I was grateful that when the sun came up, because that meant I could get warm again, because it was cold since I had walked in that snow. My feet were frozen from walking in that snow. I knew where I was. I was perfectly calm the whole time. I was not freaked out whatsoever. I knew where I was. I was safe. I was not injured. And the night before, I saw a helicopter flying over the valley, and I'm like, ooh, I hope that's my search and rescue thing. But there's a guy that flies over around both canyons. I'm looking at the fireworks across the valley. I was really bummed that I missed the fireworks for the 4th of July because our neighbors set off really good fireworks. And we have a party in our neighborhood as well for the 4th of July, so I was bummed I missed that. Anyway, and then the next day came. I was grateful for the warmth that it brought with the sun coming up, and I was going to assess my situation, trying to figure out how I could cross this river. There was no way I was going to be able to cross this river. I was trying to figure out if there was a way I could move this tree across to try to cross the river. There was no way because it was spring runoff and the current was running so fast. As you know, I'm an elite swimmer, and even with the elite swimmers, I would have died in this current because it was running too fast with spring runoff. So it's a good thing I didn't try to cross the river. I saw first light at the morning. I saw the search and rescue helicopters dropping people off the ridge, and I was trying, and they weren't looking for me at that time. There was one spot where they did look for me, but I was underneath some trees. I do want to point out it does not help when you're wearing a green shirt either. I was wearing a green shirt that day because I was totally camouflaged underneath tree covering when they were actually searching for me in my area. So that didn't help. So I went to this clearing where there was another river that had combined with the big river. And there was a clearing there, and I just stayed put and I didn't move. I don't know how long I was there for because I lost track of time. My phone died in the middle of the night. I know it died because I heard the vibration go, like it vibrated before it died on me. I saw one helicopter talking to the other helicopter, and I tried waving my space blanket around, trying to get their attention. Nothing was working, it seemed like. So finally I got up, and I heard something like doors opening and closing from the campground, either from the bathroom or the dumpster. And I got up, and I had a whistle with me, and I started blowing the whistle. And then a dad comes out with his daughter. They were just exploring the area that day. And I'm like, can you help me cross the river? And he was like motioning with his hand signals. Like if I had a phone, I'm like, nope. It died using hand signals because it was really hard to hear each other over the raging river and helicopter noises. So he left his daughter on the rock across the way and went to go find some help. And he eventually found some friends that were looking for me. And the friends notified the police officer. And then the helicopter came and asked me what my name was. And my friends got really excited and said, "Yeah, this is Dawn Rohde." But I basically rescued myself. I don't know how you want me to say this. So,
No, you're doing fine.
okay.
How long were you? What do I want to say?
36 hours. Yeah.
36 hours.
So 7 a.m. and then I didn't get rescued till like 3 o'clock the next day. I wasn't found till 3 o'clock the next day.
Okay.
Like I got rescued 3:30, 4 o'clock.
So how many? I'm sorry.
Okay, so I saw these guys dressed up. I didn't know this beforehand, but I saw EMT people dressed up. And I actually got life flighted out of there, so they hoisted me up, and that was a beautiful scene to be hoisted up out of there.
Oh, I bet.
It was funny. My friends threw Cliff Bars over to me. My friends threw a Gatorade bottle, and it actually burst open after it hit the ground. And so I got like a little tiny sip of it, but that was better than nothing. And they threw me some water, but the water was warm, so I was bummed. I actually drank the river water because my other water bottle, I lost it in the middle of the night. But I drank the river water. I didn't get giardia or anything because the water was running too fast. And it did taste awful because it didn't have the purification that tap water
Oh, that's silt.
But it was cold. Anyway, and while waiting for polite purposes, I tried to drink the warm water, even though I wanted to drink the river water because it was colder than what they had given me. But yeah, I got life flighted out of there, and it was beautiful. And I'm like, my contacts are drying out because my contacts have been in for over 24 hours. But it was a beautiful sight, and you only see that like on the news.
Yep.
Sights like that. And the guy comes down and hoists me out of there via helicopter. And I didn't know, I guess they were planning on doing a swift water rescue. So there was these guys dressed up, and I guess that would be a second resort. If they could lift me out of the canyon, they were going to do a swift water rescue. And I'm glad they didn't have to do that. They took me up to Snowbird parking lot, which was a ski resort, like I told you before.
Yep.
And took me an EMT unit there and just checked my blood pressure. My mom was freaking out. She lives in Southern California, and she was actually in Utah that week.
Wow.
That week. And so, of course, she freaked out at the officer. My daughter has high blood pressure because it runs in the family. My mom has high blood pressure. So that was the first thing that we checked for EMTs. And obviously my high blood pressure was low because I hadn't had anything to eat in over 24 hours. And I was good checked out. They wanted to know if I wanted to go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm good. Actually, when I hit the concrete, I was still wearing my spikes. Spikes are those little metal things that you wear underneath your shoes when you hike in the snow. And so it was kind of weird walking on those. And then I just quickly unclipped them and handed them to my husband as soon as he came running up to me. And he was happy to see me. The police thought there was a domestic dispute between us, but that was not the case. I was really lost. Anyway. And my mom freaked out, and she was happy that I was alive and I was okay.
So how long were you, or how long were they looking for you?
So basically basically, when I didn't come home, they called 911. And my husband posted on my Facebook page. And then that word got out to there's a Wasatch Wranglers Facebook page.
Okay.
And they posted me there. And so a bunch of search and rescue people from 911, volunteers, and people from my work. I was working at this online retailer at the time. And they had come out and given us supplies and food.
So were there people on the ground and in the air looking for you?
Yes.
Okay.
It was the night before. They started the night before. We had some friends, neighbors of ours, that had come out the night before, and they stayed at the trailhead the whole time.
Okay.
All throughout the night. And then with the posts on the social media feed, that Wasatch Wranglers group, they came out and actually hiked that trail in the middle of the night at 1
Oh, wow.
And so somebody actually recognized I was wearing sconce-knee shoes, and they saw my footprints on top of the bear footprint.
Oh.
Anyway.
So the one important thing you did is you did tell your husband where you're going and what trail you're hiking, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And he sent the search and rescue people over to look for me up the ridge, because I told him about the other guy. I'm like, ooh, I found the trail, with the other guy. And so that's where he sent, because that was the last known communication that he got from me.
Well, that's like the number one mistake some people make is everybody wants to go out and have a good time and enjoy nature, but it's important that you tell someone where you're going and when you're going to be back. So if you don't get back at said time, they're able to, send a search party.
Yep.
So what were the daytime and nighttime temperatures when you were out there?
Probably in the 60s, 50s, 60s. I mean, with snow and stuff, 60s probably. With summertime being at summertime.
That was the daytime?
Daytime, it was probably in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 90.
And so how were you dressed for those temperatures?
I was dressed in capris and a wick t-shirt.
Okay. Long sleeve wick?
No, short sleeve.
Oh, wow. That'd be chilly at nighttime.
Yep. That's why I had that space blanket.
Yep.
And that was good to have that space blanket.
Yep.
But it didn't provide me much warmth. It was more comfort than anything.
Okay. I always carry one when I'm out, but I've never used it, so I didn't know. I always wondered, did they really do anything? Did they really trap the heat like they're supposed to?
I think it was more comfort than anything.
Okay. So you were talking about an alarm that I was kind of curious about, and you said it sounded like a bird or something. What exactly is this alarm? Can you kind of explain that to us?
Maybe I should see what it's called. You could get off Amazon.
That's okay. You don't need the exact. I'm just kind of curious, why you carried it in the first place, and you've been carrying it for a while, and does it work? And is this for hikers or something in order to scare off wildlife? I've never heard of an alarm.
Yeah. Basically to scare off animal life. It's actually good just to have it for emergency purposes anyway.
So what's the sound that emits from it?
There's actually a couple different sounds. So the second one that I got actually sounds like an alarm and not a loud chirping bird.
Okay. And you said you activate it with a key fob?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Okay. And I assume it's battery powered or?
USB.
USB powered. Okay.
Charged.
So, did you have any lasting side effects or anything from this ordeal at all? Sunburn?
And a couple scratches, and that's about it.
Wow. So, I guess if you want to leave some parts of advice to the listeners at home, what would that be?
Actually, I think besides not having enough food, I would say bring a mirror.
Signal mirror?
A mirror. So my space blanket was not able to get, when I waved it around trying to get any kind of reflection to bounce back off of for the helicopters to see me, because I saw them. They didn't see me. They didn't see any reflection from the space blanket at all. So if you have a mirror, you could see some reflection off that.
That's a good idea. Was it just a standard silver reflective blanket?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mylar. Mm-hmm.
They actually make those in different colors. Like I own pink ones, and
wow.
the reason for that is that there's really nothing pink on the landscape. So if you're going along and see something, chrome pink out there, it's really going to stand out. So yeah, there's a website and they have all different colors, and I saw the pink one and I thought, oh, that's not something that's naturally occurring in nature. So I ended up buying one of those, but like I said, I've never used one before.
Yeah, I just looked up. So it's a safe sound personal alarm.
Okay. Safe sound personal alarm.
Yeah, there's a keychain with it.
So how loud is this thing? Is it like hurt your ears loud, or is it like a cell phone ringing loud?
Your fire alarm. As loud as your fire alarm.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that would scare anything away for sure.
Yep. And that helped scare away the animals in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you got to think of the mountains of Utah. You got to do with, like I said, my main concern anytime I'm off the mountains is always mountain lions. Always. Not really worried about anything else, but the mountain lions for sure. There's plenty of stories about mountain lions sneaking up on people. You don't hear them. That's the scary thing about them. You don't hear them until they're right behind you. I had an incident out in Colorado one time where I got paralleled by a mountain lion. It was kind of scary.
You just respect their space.
Yeah, the problem is if they're hungry and they mistake you for a deer, that's my concern.
Yeah, that is.
I don't want to be a mountain lion lunch. You stay on the other side. You stay on the other side of the canyon, and I'll stay on mine. And
I've been in situations where there was this other gal that was within petting distance. She was literally going to pet the moose.
Oh wow, and that's a horrible idea.
I just ran the other way and took off. I didn't even go past the moose. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to stay here to see what happens.
No, people don't have respect for wildlife. That's they think it's nature's petting zoo, and they're out there. It's all people getting hurt.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you want to add to the podcast today, Dawn?
I thought there was, but now I forgot.
That's okay. Well, thank you for coming on today and sharing your story.
Okay. I hope that helps anybody.
Yeah, for sure it will. I mean, there's people out there that love spending time in nature and be it biking or running or backpacking or mountain biking. And, there's just some simple steps, in order to protect yourself while you're out there.
It was just so difficult to coordinate anything with anybody because of work schedules, and different interests on different hikes and stuff that people want to do, and family life. It's hard to coordinate schedules to go find somebody to go trail running with sometimes. So that's why I do it by myself. But I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
My husband won't let me do that.
Buddy system is always a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Almost every runner who logs a ton of miles off-road becomes lost or disoriented at some point in their life. According to stats, first responders say 59% of runners who require assistance are lost. Fortunately, 95% of them are successfully found within 24 hours. While Dawn's ordeal was frightening, it serves up an important point for runners, especially those who tend to hit the trails solo. Some preparation before heading out can reduce your chances of spending more than 24 hours lost in the wilderness. Basic rules such as telling a loved one where you're going, along with supplying them with a map, will greatly speed in search and rescuers' ability to find you quickly. Communicate your plans. A small backpack with a fire starter, water tablets, space blanket, water bottle, compass, paper map, and a few energy bars will greatly make your overnight in the wild more manageable. In tough times, it's important to stay calm and positive. It's easy to let fear and sheer panic overwhelm you. It's the reason Dawn made it out alive the next day. She just kept thinking of her husband, and she knew someone would find her if she didn't get out first. Generally speaking, the first rule when you're lost is to stay put, as it minimizes the chance of wandering further away from potential rescuers and allows search teams to focus their efforts in a smaller area. This is especially true if someone knows where you are or where you're supposed to be and can initiate a search. Thankfully, Dawn's story has a happy ending, but many lessons can be learned from her ordeal. Remember to stay safe out there and enjoy all that Mother Nature has to offer. If you like what you heard today, click the subscribe button to hear more upcoming stories. If you or someone you know have a survival story you'd like to share, contact me at isurvivethewildoutdoors@gmail.com.